英語で国内ニュースです。優しい英語で今日の出来事をお届けします。
Environment Minister Ishihara apologized for insufficient words regarding welfare services for Minamata disease patients. He promised to discuss requests with the mayor, but later explained his comment by saying patients were in front of him. Patients protested. Ishihara apologized for his language, affirming he conveyed the promise. He also denied an official's alleged remark about patients being blessed.
In an accident on the Benetsu Expressway, where 21 high school students were injured or killed in a microbus, it was revealed that a student filmed a video just before the crash. The students were from Niigata Prefecture, traveling for a club activity. Police are now investigating the driving conditions based on this new evidence.
U.S. media reports that President Trump discussed future response options with his national security team. This comes as the president views the Iran situation as being on the verge of a ceasefire collapsing. The discussions aim to address the ongoing tensions in the region.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Beessent, visiting Japan, met with Prime Minister Takaichi and Finance Minister Katayama on May 12th. These discussions precede a U.S.-China summit scheduled for later this week in China. The meetings likely focused on economic cooperation and preparing for the upcoming high-level talks.
The House of Representatives Constitutional Review Committee received a draft proposal for emergency clauses, focusing on maintaining parliamentary functions during crises. Both ruling and opposition parties will discuss this proposal on May 14th. The aim is to reach a consensus on these vital constitutional provisions.
Snack maker Calbee plans to change 14 product packages to black and white, citing unstable printing ink procurement due to the Middle East situation. The government will hold a hearing with Calbee to understand this. Deputy Chief Cabinet Secretary Sato said Japan has sufficient ink materials but wants to grasp the company's specific challenges.
The number of unclaimed bodies is increasing, nearly doubling in 5 Chiba prefecture cities over 4 years. This burdens local governments with cremation and managing remains and belongings. Public expenses are rising, with some cities spending tens of millions of yen. This trend is largely attributed to the growing number of single elderly households.
The World Health Organization, WHO, announced 7 confirmed hantavirus cases linked to a cruise ship. This follows a French passenger testing positive. The WHO recommends a 42-day quarantine for all crew and passengers from the vessel due to the suspected outbreak.
Dodgers manager Dave Roberts hinted at a possible rest day from hitting for Shohei Ohtani on May 13th or 14th. Ohtani has struggled, going hitless in 2 games and without a home run in 11. Roberts noted Ohtani's not good mindset, swinging aggressively. Ohtani is scheduled to pitch on May 13th.
After the Banetsu Expressway microbus accident, Ibaraki's Prefectural Board of Education banned white bus use for all 770 public schools. White buses are private vehicles illegally offering paid transport like the one in the accident. The board emphasized the high risk and illegality of such services.
次は社会のニュースです。
Environment Minister Ishihara apologized for his lack of words about Minamata disease patients' welfare. He told them he would speak to the mayor, but later said he spoke that way because patients were in front of me. Patients protested. Minister Ishihara reiterated his apology for the phrasing, denying a ministry official's alleged insensitive comment.
Before a club bus accident on the Banetsu Expressway, a student sent a "I might die" message to a parent feeling unsafe due to the driver's actions. The 68-year-old driver was arrested. Police are now investigating a video filmed by the student just before the crash. This video could be important evidence of the driving conditions.
The Osaka High Court ruled that requiring gender entries in family registers goes against the spirit of Article 14 of the Constitution, ensuring equality under the law. This was in response to a non-binary individual seeking to correct their family register, which listed them as eldest daughter.
Bear sightings in Japan reached a record high of over 50,000 cases in fiscal year 2025, increasing 2.5 times from the prior year. The Environment Ministry attributes this to a poor acorn harvest, a key food source. Akita Prefecture had the most sightings. The total number of captured bears also hit a record high.
A 16-year-old boy has been arrested for allegedly spraying a substance inside a JR Tokaido line train. The incident occurred on May 10th at Yokohama Station, disrupting train services. Police are investigating the details of the spray and the extent of the disruption caused by the boy's actions.
The Japan Red Cross National Convention was held in Tokyo on May 12. Empress Masako, who is the honorary president, attended. Other female imperial family members, including Princess Kiko, were also present at the event in Shibuya. The convention gathered members from across Japan.
The Osaka High Court again acquitted Koji Nakata, 67, leader of the Yamaken-gumi gang, in his second trial. He faced charges for the 2019 shooting of a Yamaguchi-gumi member. The court found surveillance footage too unclear to definitively identify him as the culprit. Prosecutors had sought 20 years in prison.
A study by the University of Tokyo suggests multiple active faults off Suzu City, Ishikawa Prefecture, likely caused the tsunami during the Noto Peninsula earthquake 2 years ago. Researchers found that the seabed around these fault zones uplifted by tens of meters.
The House of Representatives Constitutional Review Council discussed a draft emergency clause prepared by its Legislative Bureau. This proposal includes ways to maintain parliamentary functions during emergencies. Ruling and opposition parties have agreed to further debate this draft on May 14th.
Reconstruction Minister Makino emphasized that establishing a disaster prevention agency would improve evacuation environments nationwide. He stated it would serve as a central command for disaster response. Ruling and opposition parties have agreed to hold a committee vote on the bill to establish this agency on May 14th.
次はビジネス関連のニュースです。
Calbee plans to use black and white packaging for some potato chips due to unstable printing ink supply affected by naphtha shortages from Middle East tensions. On May 12th, the government announced it would hold hearings with related companies. Officials stated no immediate supply issues are reported, but they are working to understand the situation.
Major developers are warning new condominium buyers of potential handover delays. This includes city center tower mansions, due to concerns over construction material shortages from the tense Middle East situation. While no delays have occurred yet, uncertainty is growing. Mitsui Fudosan Residential has already notified buyers of a large Tokyo tower mansion.
A bill to establish a disaster prevention agency, the government's Disaster Response Command Center, will be voted on by a House of Representatives committee on May 14th. It is expected to pass. Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi will attend a debate before the vote. The agency, led by the Prime Minister and a Disaster Prevention Minister, aims to launch in November.
Japan and the U.S. confirmed cooperation on exchange rate trends during a May 12 meeting between Finance Minister Katayama and U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent. They also warned against China's export restrictions on critical minerals and discussed international efforts to strengthen mineral supply chains. Bessent will also visit Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi.
Opinions from the Bank of Japan's April meeting, released May 12, show some members support a rate hike in future meetings, despite Middle East uncertainty. Citing rising inflation risks, they called for early rate hikes, unless the economy clearly slows. One member, however, advised caution due to potential oil supply disruptions and economic impact.
Asian investment fund MBK Partners will acquire major aluminum can company Artemira Holdings. The acquisition, valued at hundreds of billions of yen, has received government approval under the Foreign Exchange Act. This follows MBK's earlier withdrawal from acquiring machine toolmaker Makino Milling Machine in April, after a government recommendation to halt that deal.
Japan's long-term interest rates have risen to 2.545%, reaching their highest level in 27 years and 3 months. This increase is likely driven by growing concerns over inflation and expectations of monetary policy adjustments by the Bank of Japan. Financial markets are closely monitoring these developments.
Chief Cabinet Secretary Minoru Kihara stated on May 12 that anti-government demonstrations will not be investigated by the proposed National Intelligence Council. This came during a House of Councilors debate on the bill to strengthen intelligence functions. Opposition parties raised privacy concerns. Kihara pledged the government would report the council's activities to the Diet, excluding sensitive information.
The House of Representatives Constitutional Review Committee will discuss a draft emergency clause on May 14th. This proposal, created by the Legislative Bureau, outlines maintaining parliamentary functions during emergencies. Both ruling and opposition parties have agreed to debate this framework. This discussion is a significant step in ongoing constitutional reform efforts.
Financial Services Minister Katayama announced a public-private working group will be established on May 14th. The group will address growing concerns about new U.S. AI models posing risks to the financial system. They will discuss strengthening security measures and other countermeasures through collaboration between the government and private sector.
では、スポーツニュースをお伝えします。
A 1-for-2 trade has been announced in professional baseball. Dina's main catcher, Yuma Yamamoto, will move to SoftBank. In return, SoftBank's pitcher, Shuto Ogata, and infielder Tomoya Inoue will join Dina. Both clubs have officially confirmed this player exchange.
Shohei Ohtani's home run drought continues. In the Dodgers' May 11th game against the Giants, Ohtani went 0 for 5, extending his streak to 51 consecutive at-bats without a home run. He missed a key opportunity in the 6th inning and struck out in his final at-bat, showing a prolonged slump at the plate.
Dodgers manager Dave Roberts hinted at a possible rest day for Shohei Ohtani. After Ohtani went 0 for 5 on May 11th and extended his home run drought to 11 games, Roberts noted his not good mindset. He is considering resting Ohtani from batting in the May 13th or 14th game against the Giants.
Roki Sasaki started for the Dodgers against the Giants on May 11th. He pitched 5 0 third innings, allowing 6 hits and 3 runs, missing his second win. Sasaki gave up a crucial go-ahead 2-run double in the 6th inning, showing a pained expression before being pulled from the mound.
Nippon Professional Baseball, NPB, will now penalize dangerous swings effective May 12th. This decision follows an accident where an umpire was injured by a released bat. Batters whose swings endanger others will receive warnings or ejections. The new rule was approved by the 12-team executive committee.
Japan national team midfielder Kaoru Mitoma sustained an injury in a May 9th league match. Manager Hajime Moriyasu said on May 10th that while he hopes it's minor, staff indicated does not seem to be a minor injury. This news precedes the upcoming World Cup squad announcement.
Yokozuna Hoshoryu withdrew from the Summer Grand Sumo Tournament on May 11th, Day 2, after suffering a right hamstring injury on Day 1. He needs 2 weeks of rest, With Ozeki Onisato also out from day one due to a left shoulder injury, the tournament will now proceed without any Yokozuna.
Japan's men's and women's table tennis teams both won silver at the World Team Championships in London on May 10th, losing to China in the finals. The women lost 2-3, extending their 55-year title drought. The men lost 0-3, missing their first gold in 57 years.
Women's ski jumper Yuki Ito will retire after the next season. Ito has had a long and distinguished career, competing in 4 consecutive Olympic Games and consistently performing at the top of international competitions. Her affiliated company made the official announcement regarding her upcoming retirement.
Takahiro Kitano, president of Japan's Bobsleigh Federation, apologized for discriminatory remarks against Koreans in a meeting. On May 12th, he admitted the comments, stating he lacked composure. The Federation's website posted his apology. Reports also suggest his past anti-Korean sentiment and opposition to a South Korea expedition.
続いて、国際ニュースです。
President Trump labeled the ceasefire with Iran extremely fragile on May 11th, warning it could end soon. He criticized Iran for not promising to abandon nuclear weapons in their response, calling it unacceptable. With the nuclear issue unresolved, military action is reportedly being considered, though likely not before his return from China.
UK Prime Minister Starmer faced increased pressure on May 11th, with 4 ministerial aides resigning. Over 70 ruling Labour Party MPs publicly demanded his resignation. Despite Starmer's vow to remain, party dissatisfaction persists after a major local election defeat. He argued a leadership contest would only create chaos.
President Trump's visit to China this week will include over a dozen top U.S. business leaders. Elon Musk of Tesla, Tim Cook of Apple, and Kelly Ortberg of Boeing are among those expected to accompany him. The delegation aims to secure new business deals and purchase agreements from China during the high-level meetings.
The U.S. Justice Department announced May 11 that California Mayor Eileen Wang was indicted for acting as a Chinese government agent. She admitted posting pro-China articles denying Xinjiang atrocities on her news site under Chinese instruction. Wang accepted a plea deal and resigned as mayor. She became mayor in February this year.
Ukrainian media reported on May 11th that Andriy Yermak, former head of President Zelensky's office, is under investigation for money laundering. Yermak, once a close aide and shadow ruler, was dismissed due to corruption allegations. He is suspected of laundering approximately 460 million hryvnias linked to a luxury housing project near Kyiv.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent, currently in Japan, held meetings on May 12 with Prime Minister Takaichi and Finance Minister Katayama. These discussions come ahead of the U.S.-China summit scheduled for later this week in China. The meetings likely focused on economic cooperation and preparations for the upcoming high-level talks.
The World Health Organization announced 7 people are now infected with hantavirus from a suspected outbreak on a cruise ship after 1 French passenger tested positive. The WHO recommends a 42-day quarantine for all crew and passengers from the vessel to prevent further spread of the virus.
President Trump announced on May 11th he will discuss Taiwan arms sales with Chinese President Xi Jinping during his Beijing summit. Trump arrives May 13th for talks. Concerns exist about potential U.S. concessions on Taiwan for economic deals. Trump also plans to raise the release of Hong Kong media founder Jimmy Lai.
President Trump will meet Chinese President Xi Jinping from May 13 to 15. Their tariff war has been in a truce since last autumn. The summit is expected to extend this truce and discuss trade expansion. They will also likely discuss an artificial intelligence dialogue framework aiming to ease tensions.
EU foreign ministers agreed to impose new sanctions on 7 groups and individuals, including radical Jewish settler organizations. This decision comes amid ongoing violence in the Palestinian West Bank. The sanctions aim to address the escalating situation caused by the actions of these groups and individuals.
続いて、文化・芸能ニュースをお伝えします。
Comedian Kuta Nakayama retracted his statement about being bullied by Savannah's Shigeo Takahashi and apologized for his past immature interactions.
Comedian Nakayama Kinnekun and actress Kasumi Arimura attended an event. Kinnekun mistakenly called Arimura's sleeveless dress a tank top, leading to a wry smile after her correction. Arimura discussed her stoic work ethic. Kinnekun, however, is satisfied with "yeah" and power for work. He aims to continue bodybuilding into his 70s and 80s.
Actress Haruka Ayase and comedian Daigo Chidori attended a preview for their film The Sheep in the Box. Directed by Hirokazu Koreeda, it will compete at the 79th Cannes International Film Festival. Daigo, making his film debut, plans to attend Cannes. He jokingly expressed nervousness about offering Ayase his hand on the red carpet.
Lion Corporation is comprehensively considering its response regarding commercials for Stoppa diarrhea medicine, featuring comedian Shigeo Takahashi. No CM broadcasts are currently planned. Takahashi recently apologized for his immature interactions with Kuta Nakayama. He has been the product's CM character for over 15 years.
Singer-songwriter Milet warned against malicious nuisance behavior like stalking and tailing on her website. She stated these actions threaten her safety and public safety. Specific examples include waiting at public places, taking close seats on transport, and tracking her residence or vehicles. Milet indicated that confirmed incidents would lead to police reports and legal action.
A new Beatles museum will open in London next year, announced by their copyright management company. It will be in the building where they recorded Let It Be and performed their last public concert in 1969. Named The Beatles at 3 Savile Row, it will display memorabilia. Paul McCartney expressed excitement for visitors.
The Nara National Museum is exhibiting the national treasure Konshi Kinji Kyuo, a gold-lettered sutra handwritten by Fujiwara no Michinaga. This is its first display since a 2.5-year repair. Michinaga buried these 15 volumes in 1007. His postscript confirms his authorship. The repair clarified the burial date as August 11, 1007.
Rakugo performer Shiraku Tatekawa, who once engaged in direct negotiations with comedian Hitoshi Matsumoto, has announced a new development. Popular YouTuber Hikaru has reportedly expressed his strong desire to become Tatekawa's apprentice.
A Tokyo court ruled high-priced snowman ticket resales infringed on organizers' rights. Stardo Entertainment will now strengthen crackdowns on resale sites. A 29-year-old fan, supporting Johnny's for 20 years, admitted she resold tickets for less popular groups to afford tickets for her favorite JR groups.
K-Con Japan 2026, a K-pop festival, is happening in Chiba. INI headlined the first night. U.S. music reporter Ivana Morales praised INI, saying they deliver stage energy precisely like a knife and would appeal to Western audiences. She regretted missing K-Con LA. Joe 1 and Zero Base 1 will headline later nights.
今日のニュースは以上です。最後までお付き合いいただき、ありがとうございました。おやすみなさい。